Yeah, man. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's the Mac. Welcome back to a different showcase here. Not what I usually put up on the channel. It's mostly War Game Design Studio games, but it happens. Sometimes I put up stuff that I actually play off camera. And this is Order of Battle, man. World War II. Pretty old game now. I think it's been out since 2015 or something. Really cool game, man. I got some Panzer General vibes playing this game back in the 90s for all you old people like me who played those games back then. This is probably like like an involvement from that game, I would imagine, because it has a lot of inspiration coming from that. So I don't know much history. I know the game company is called the Aristocats. But the Slitherine and Matrix games are sort of selling this game, but it's developed by the Aristocrats apparently. Yeah. So, man, Order of Battle. All right. So this is a pretty cool game. I've been fooling around with playing it some, and I thought, man, I gotta put this on the channel because it's sort of has very different like feel to it and very different. Game altogether, especially if you guys mostly tune in on my channel to watch the War Game Design Studio games. This is like woohoo, completely different, but still a very fun game to play. So this game is actually free. You can get it on Steam, and I guess from Matrix or Slytherine's website as well. Just you can download it, but it's free. But basically it's only the tutorial that's free in the game, and I think it's like the first mission from every DLC. I've heard. I haven't actually tried that out, but I've heard that. But I've also heard that it's kind of limited. That the meat of the game is actually the DLCs, and that's what you pay for to get. And they are all like campaigns of different theaters during the Second World War. Everything. I mean, they got a shitload. Let's just check out the page a bit here. So this is the game here. Yeah, so they got DLCs, man. I've actually only got one because this is the one I want to showcase. But I'm planning to get more on this game. So they got, as you can see, quite a lot. I don't know if there's like 17 or something. And the latest was actually released 2022, and it's called Order of Battle Allies Victorious. But they're actually on sale now, so you can get these like DLCs for like in my case here it's euros, so €6, man, it's nothing. So I got this because this was the first ever DLC released, and it's called Order of Battle Morning Sun, and I like it because it covers a theater of war that I have basically never played, especially not like a dedicated war game. Sadly, a War Game Design Studio don't have any title covering the Japanese and Chinese wars. The Second Sinai War? Maybe that's what it's called. It was the war between the rising of the Japanese Empire and to expand into China. We'll go over more of that later on. But so this is the DLC I got. But as you can see, man, they got U.S. Marines. They got something called Rising Sun. So this is probably after the. This is when the Japanese are actually fighting the Americans and in the of the Allies in the Pacific. They have U.S. Pacific. They have this would be cool to try out actually, the Winter War. So they have some stuff. The Kriegsmarine, yes, Burma, Panzerkrieg, Sandstorm. This must be probably Africa. Red Star, Red Steel. I mean, loads, man. So these are the DLCs for the game. There's also a manual that comes with the game. It's only 72 pages even, so that's kind of small compared to some of the other hardcore games, like War Game Design Studios games, where there's over 200 pages now in the Panzer campaigns. But I like it. It's kind of simple. It's kind of fast. There's not too much, I'm going to actually fire up I was thinking we could play the first mission of the first DLC that came with the game to get the feel of it and have a look at units and stuff and how that game actually works. I could tell you right now, I'm nowhere near an expert in this game, man. I mean, I just sort of there's a really good tutorial actually in the game that if you ever get this game, you can get it because it's free, and you can try the play the tutorials. Really good. It really, I think it explains almost everything because I've sort of skimmed through the manual. I haven't read every single word, but I've sort of skimmed through it, and basically everything that pops up in the manual is actually in the tutorial. So, and they sort of take you through all the major type of engagements like land, sea, air. All that's actually portrayed in this game in a pretty nice way. I would say the naval battles in this game is actually pretty cool. It gets you into it because they have submarines, they have minesweepers, they have battleships, they have destroyers, they have gunboats, they have aircraft carriers and shit, man. There's lots of stuff that you can, fool around with. Even though it's simple, it's still pretty like deep into strategy, I would say. I think it's pretty well portrayed. So let's get back to the game. Here it is. Yeah. So that's what it looks like when you fire it up. There is online news, and it's also apparently community content. I haven't checked that out. I'm not going to do that now since I don't know what's going to happen if I click there. But so they have single player. You can apparently play this multiplayer. There are options, editors. There's a scenario editor and campaign editor as well, so you can make your own stuff, which is pretty cool. Options is your standard stuff, There's actually some music in this game. I've actually turned it down a lot because it's good music, man. It's actually orchestra music. You can probably just hear it behind me there, but it's really well. Music is really nice, and as you can see, the graphics are amazing. I think the graphics are really good. The artwork is great. So when you get single play, this is what it looks like when you sort of fire the game up. That's the boot camp, which, and see, these are all the DLCs, man. You can buy. So I've got the Morning Sun, the first one there, but there's lots, man. I think it's pretty cool that they sort of have a separate endeavor for every sort of major theater of the Second World War there. Scenarios, I haven't checked this one out. This is boot camp, so not sure what that is. Load games, yeah. Campaigns, yeah. So apparently they have some medals. This here is a Zundap motorcycle. Owners of the strategy game Heroes of Normandy will receive a unique Zundap motorcycle reconnaissance unit in the Rising Sun campaign. That means I have to buy this campaign, and I'll get that thing there. Not really sure what that is. I mean, this game. I mean, if you're like me, used to the Wargame Design Studios, like really hardcore researched. I mean, to this. I mean, to get the most accuracy possible out of the conflicts they portray. This game does not dive that deep. There's a lot of things that are sort of gamey sort of thing. That you will see that when we get into it. But overall, I mean, they have a lot of research that's gone into this game as well. I mean, they have a lot of units and different kinds of things, but how it's portrayed, I can show you. So the boot camp is good. I'm not going to launch it. I think we should just dive right into this Morning Sun. So it says the decade-long aggressive Japanese policy in Asia aimed at securing access to raw materials, food, and labor escalated into a full-scale war with the Republic of China in the summer of 1937. Yeah, so there was. Well, I guess we could look at this map here. So here you have Japan, and this area here. No, sorry, not that area. I must be, yeah, Manchuria? I think it is actually, was annexed back in 37. Well, it wasn't. Yeah, it was kind of annexed, I would say, by the Japanese, and there was a lot of tensions going on here, man. And the Japanese were pretty aggressive. They wanted to. I would actually say that the Japanese beginnings were a bit like Germans' beginnings, because they were looking for Lebensraum as well, you know, like the Germans were doing. They wanted to expand their empire and you know, have more resources and availability to all the good stuff that China has to offer, and they saw themselves as above the Chinese as well. So they wanted to subdue them. Lots of things going on here. I'm actually not a historian expert on what actually went down, but there's a lot, man. There was a conflict back in the 1800s as well, and then but this kicks off as the second phase of that war, and that was the Japanese were held back because the Chinese refused to surrender, so the Japanese were hell bent on actually taking control of Beijing. It wasn't called Beijing back then; it was called something else, the capital. But then they moved the capital further to another city out of the Japanese control. And and the rise of communism was also in China, so that's going to be was a part of that conflict as well. And once the Japanese were sort of had a large chunk of China, and there was a sort of a lull and stalemate in the fighting, and the West was reacting a lot to this. The Japanese was expanding. I mean, even the Chinese were actually trained by Germany at one point before, and then they went into the Axis Pact, but that was actually in 41, after Pearl Harbor. So why? There's a reason why Pearl Harbor actually happened that I actually didn't really know. I thought it was just sort of the Japanese were like being you know, pissed off and scared that the Americans had such a huge navy and a threat to them that they, you know, did a sneak attack. But it was actually the Americans actually had put a huge embargo on Japan, an oil embargo. So. And Japanese were buying most of their oil from the USA, and once they put that embargo on, they wanted to strike out that fleet so they could expand and get their own oil, so to speak. That was one part of it, of why Pearl Harbor was attacked. So there was a big conflict there, man. So this campaign is apparently going on in that 1937, and that actually dragged on for a couple of years. I think it was like in 1940. So that was almost 3 years, and it was a frozen conflict because Japan was preoccupied with everything else they were conquering and fighting. But then, of course, as they lost, the Chinese took it back and stuff. And China was actually allied with USA as well. So I mean, it was so much shit going on, man. It's very confusing. I'm just having I know most of my knowledge of World War II is actually, as I've said it probably before in previous videos, is on the European part. But this would be very much for my American viewers and Asian viewers. They would know a lot more about this. What happens if I press there? No. Okay, let's just go to the next campaign. All right, so we read that. Let's launch it. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I think it's also what it looks like when you fire up the tutorial. So, wrestling for power. In the past few decades, Japan and China have seen many conflicts. Now, as its adversaries weakened by years of civil war, Japanese leadership sees another opportunity to strengthen and expand its authority in Eastern Asia. Yeah, so that's also something that I didn't say. There was, of course, a political turmoil in China, and it was the commies and some emperor as well. You know, there was the nationalists and the commies, and it was sort of a political turmoil there, as they also wanted to modernize the country, because the country they wanted to get some more Western influence into there and modernize it. All right, continue. Right, so they're showing that we have the Beiping Tingjing. This is where it sort of kicks off. So we are playing the Imperial Japanese Army. I think that's the only choice I have. I'm not sure if I ever complete this campaign and actually play the Chinese, or if it's always going to be the Japanese. So it says Beiping, July 1937. Following the Marco Polo Bridge incident. Yeah, so that was also something that it was sort of a staged thing by the Japanese to, you know, conduct this massive assault. In early July, renewed hostilities with the Chinese army have commenced. These actions may sound the beginning of the Second Sino-Japanese War. Yeah. So they have something called specializations. So I only have 2 points. So as you can see, this is probably how far this campaign is going to go. And you gain these points, and you can spend them on something to specialize. Like here we have, what does it say? Yeah, here we go. Additional infantry training courses allow recruits to become more proficient at mobile and combined arms warfare, as well as low-level tactics and weapon handling. Effects. Newly purchased infantry units start with 1 experience star. So that's probably... Here we have the flight school and war economy. That's interesting. +2 land, naval, and command points. 1 air command point. So yeah, I'm going to go into this later on. We're going to see that as we go into the... And they can't get tank school until 1939. So they have obviously mostly infantry. They have armed... They had some tanks and stuff, but not that much back then. Mostly infantry duking it out, and some armored cars and stuff like that. And look at that. They get the Banzai charge in the 40s. You see that... You can buy these as you progress, just sort of specialize in different trees, which I find pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. So I can't acquire anything. Here's obviously it's a difficult campaign. I'm going to leave it on default. It's actually Lieutenant, so we'll leave it there because I'm not very good at this game. And we'll start. And it's loading. Oh yeah, loading tips. These are good. I leave them on because you might learn something. So you have like a loading tip. Radar stations can detect enemy air units deep into fog of war. Okay, maybe that didn't switch properly there. All right, so here we go, man. Mission briefing awaits. Deployment mode. I wonder what that is. Can't click it. All right, start briefing. So this is what the game looks like, man. I would say pretty nice graphics. I like it. I've heard some people say that it's actually outdated, but I think it's pretty nice, you know. It's very well modeled and very different than the War Game Design Studio games, and we're going to go into that. So it says deployment mode. All right, tensions between Chinese forces and our garrisons in the North China have recently escalated into a heavy firefight around the Marco Polo Bridge near Beiping. While Tokyo is trying to settle this matter diplomatically, the army will not waste any time to secure the Beiping-Tianjin Railway. So here we got the Beiping. Tianjin? Where is that? Got something down here. Langfang. Okay, so we don't have names and all the Tangshan. This looks like it's already under Japanese control. All right, here we go. Okay, so that was probably that up there. Okay, here we go. It is imperative to reinforce our concessions quickly, repulse further Chinese attacks, and take full control of both Beiping and Tianjin. This got to be Tianjin, I guess. Use all force necessary to quell the enemy's resistance, but stay clear of the foreign concessions in the city center to avoid provoking Western countries. Okay, here we have something. Foreign concessions. So this is where foreigners live. So this is some British people area, and they don't want to have none of the killings going on there. I'm pretty shocked that the Japanese actually, took that in consideration to start. Okay, here we go. With both cities secured, converge on the city of Langfang in the center of the Beiping-Tianjin Railroad. So yeah, here's a railroad here. Okay, so that's the railroad that's connecting here. We got some railroad going out of Beiping as well. And we got an airfield, Chinese airfield. That's interesting. And so we got to take this town as well. So yeah, this is a very important part of this game. Is you get you're gonna get like objectives and stuff to carry out, and I think that's pretty cool. I like that. Our garrison troops and allied East Hebei forces have been ordered to remain in the defensive positions and will not support the offensive operations. Okay, so there are units already on the map that will not take part. So I guess I have to build a core troops, and these are probably going to be taking part though. Not sure which ones it is yet. We'll see. Additional troops are currently mobilized and scheduled to arrive by naval transport. Okay, so this is the bay here. We're going to probably land some forces on the beach here. Utilize those forces to take control of important ports on the Yellow Sea coast. Then advance inland to clear the outskirts around Tianjin. Tianjin, this was Tianjin, I would imagine, yeah. So they're going to have to take some of these port towns. What else? The Chinese National Revolutionary Army has numerous divisions at its disposal, but most of them are poorly equipped and no match of our forces. Teach them not to mess with the Imperial Army ever again. Okay, here we go. All right, so we get 10 of these requisition points, I think every turn, income per turn, yeah. And you do get more if you capture objectives or cities and stuff. It increases. Not sure what this is. 17H12 specializations. We don't have any specializations, no. Primary objectives, all right. So we have to secure Beiping. So you can click, and it tells you very clearly that we need to secure this. This is one of our primary objectives. All right. And we have to secure Tianjin. So that is Tianjin. We have to secure this town. That apparently is the objective hex. We have to seize the Yellow Sea ports. Yeah, these two here. These are primary objectives as well. Take Langfang. That's this town in the middle here. Some bonus down here. And we have secondary objectives. Do not lose any garrison in 10 turns. Okay, so okay, there's a few of them. We're not allowed to lose them within the... Preventing the enemy from raiding our positions will secure 50 requisition points for the operation. It's pretty good. So we have to hold these. We can't lose those positions, apparently. These are secondary, just, you know. Destroy the Renault FT-17 tank unit. Okay, we don't know where that is. We have to destroy some French tanks. The SS key must deal 20 damage. Okay, we have some armor here that we can use. Okay. Let's save it. There's an autosave. Cool. Let's do that. Right. So this is the game. Right. So it says it's the 5th of July. Click here to display the current objectives. Okay, that's what we just had. All right. That's end turn. All right. Let's have a look here. Let's explain some stuff. All right. So this is your sort of average. You have a force. Your force. Okay, this is what's already up. So this here displays the force that's actually display all alive, display deployed units. Yeah. So these are all the units that are already on the map. So we have. So this is what a unit looks like. Japanese infantry 37. So, you know, forget everything you see in Wargame Design Studio games with battalions and companies and platoons and brigades and divisions and all that. You know, they made it simple here. So it just says Japanese infantry. There's nothing that actually says scale in this game. I mean, a hex is just a hex, basically. And a unit is a unit. You know, it could be a battalion, could be a company, you know, it could be a regiment. Probably something in between battalion and regimental size, I would imagine. So this was, it looks like Japanese infantry. So you can press this, and you get the information on this. It doesn't have a commander. You can get specific commanders. You can be awarded with commanders, and you can put them in certain units, and they gain experience and stuff. So this Japanese standard infantry 37 unit has no attack. So red is usually your attacks, and green is your defenses. And this in the middle here are like special, you know, your special, what they can do, basically, some special powers of the infantry unit. So they can attack air targets, they can attack boats, and they can, you know, they have an attack against land, mechanized. They have 3 to 6 attack values, and 9 versus infantry. 9 defense versus mechanized as well. They have this versus naval gunfire and bombs and artillery and stuff. They have movement points of 6 and efficiency. It's not actually displayed there. It's actually displayed here. So they have 10 points now in efficiency, and that can go down. It's very important with your efficiency. The lower your number you have, the more vulnerable you're going to be in fighting and stuff. And this tells you, so now I have this unit selected here. That's that unit there. They're in a town. So a town has certain, see, if I click a hex, yeah, here we go. If I click that and I press this, you can find the hex info, like it has attackers combat factors. They have 0.7. Defenders combat factor 0.8, and they have an 85. You have lots of cover and stuff in town, and so the defender has slightly higher attack than the attacker going in. Basically, they have a disembark penalty. You know, efficiency loss for disembarking in this type of terrain. Okay, so that is if you have if you're like, say, the coast. If I have naval forces deploying straight into this, actually has a harbor. But if they would go into buildings, they will have like a penalty for that, landing in such an obstructed place. So we have that infantry there. We have a Japanese heavy infantry. So that's basically your heavy infantry company. Where are they? Okay, they're down there. Okay. They're slightly more, they have some, should we say, they have some abilities. They can switch into mortar, fire the mortars and stuff. Oops, I just did something there. Yeah, so they have, then they have different kind, then they can do different kind of attacks, basically. We'll go into that when we're actually in fighting. But these, as you can see, these guys have better attack values, since obviously they have heavy weapons and stuff. And they could use mortar ability as well. We have something called Japanese. We have some Japanese cavalry here. They have very good attacks versus soft land targets. 11. That's like the highest yet. They have 9 heavy weapons companies, so they are pretty good at, you know, attacking soft targets. But they're lousy versus tanks and stuff, and their defense is sort of not the best, basically. And here's this weird thing they were saying about this. So this tank is a secondary objective. It's a Sokusagyoki. I don't know my Japanese tanks that well, but this is probably some early type of assault gun. And they have special things. They have shock damage to enemies. And it affects the enemy's efficiency. They have a reduction of enemy fortification level. Yeah, so that's something that we're going into. There's fortification levels and stuff you need to overcome. Pretty good attacks, pretty decent defense, I guess. So we have a tank company or platoon. And here we have the classic Japanese 37mm anti-tank gun unit. they have an entrenchment fortification of this. Okay, so they're already sort of entrenched. They have a 4 there, so there's sort of, you can see that you can actually zoom in right in here. You could play like this as well, but you will have like no idea what's going on. But you can see the sandbags here. This is another feature of the game. The sandbags, the more sandbags you have, the more entrenched you are. So that's something how you can actually see on an enemy position, you know, how well it could be defended. If it has a lot of sandbags, you know it's going to be tough not to crack and stuff like that. Yes, we have that 37. We have these classic 75mm Type 41 howitzers or infantry guns. So they are different. You can see the guns here. They're actually not towed. They don't have a towing ability. They're just sort of pulled around by guys, and it's actually like a static defense position. So that it's in place here. But these artillery guns are they have a horse transport, so they are over here. It looks like to be my only artillery on the map, and they of course have the bombardment feature, and they can also when you fire in a position. Artillery could do damage fortifications and stuff. And then we have some airplanes. We have those Ki-3s. Not a very huge knowledge on Japanese aircrafts. All I know is about the Zero, the Zero fighter that was throughout the war. But I guess this is some sort of light attack aircraft. I mean, they can attack naval targets, and they have a 7 attack versus ground targets. They cause some shock value. They can't really destroy any fortifications. They have some decent defense there. So strength point 10. Yeah, 10 is like your default strength point. So you can see everything is like 10. And that's how you see how damaged your units are. So if you're basically down to 5 strength points, you know you have about 50% forces left. All right, so these are all the forces that are actually deployed on the map. So I would imagine they are not going to take part of the fight. It said that or it could be that they mean these units, Chinese infantry, because these guys were sort of allies. Is that that is the Great Wall over there? That is cool that they have actually put that there. I like it. Yeah, so these are not taking part, and the garrison troops are not taking part either. And so these are probably taking part. I mean, I would imagine. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to buy an army now. So that's what we're going to be doing. And how do you do that, you might ask? Well, we have 300 points to spend. What's this? Okay, here we go, display. All right. Yeah, so we have purchase. Right, we have 300 of these requisition points we can spend. And just looking at infantry, you can see that they cost 20 points a pop for one. So that's not very expensive, is it? It's pretty cheap. But they have this. This is your command points, basically. And I can command up to 30 points worth of infantry or land-based units. You can see recon is also regarded. Here you can see if I want to buy a recon plane, that's one. I can actually have up to 7 points in air power. So they were pretty cheap. But these cost, they have two. It cost 50, 55. Different kinds of reconnaissance. Type 92 Osaka. And then if you hover it, you can see the values in below. So they're pretty, kind of standard. They're reconnaissance. Since it has units traits, it has unit does not require nor draw supply from its territory, which is good. It has a unit retreats for combat when taking minor damage. No entrenchment, can't entrench. Flexible pathing. Unit can divide its movement points in several moves. And it has a fleeting presence. Units cannot capture, so you can't capture objectives with reconnaissance unit. This one's slightly more expensive. It has, I don't know, does it have better tech? I don't think it has. Not really sure why this one is more expensive. 942. That's odd that they write 422. I mean, it would be 2 to 4 damage, I would imagine, but not sure how it works. And we have a recon plane there, right? So infantry, you have standard Japanese, and if you buy them with trucks, motorized infantry, then it's 50 points because the trucks cost 30 and the infantry costs 20, so that's 50 points for some motorized. And now you can quickly see how these points are going to be spent. 50 points, that means it leaves me only 250 points. If I only buy 2 motorized units, that's like 100 points. And heavy infantry is 50, and that would be even more. It would be 80 points if they were motorized. Cavalry, this cavalry seems pretty badass though. That's 50 points, but they have 3, 4. So you got to keep track of this and this number. Tanks, we can get tanks. As you can see, they're pretty expensive. We have these Type 94. And we have these Type 89s. These are pretty good tanks, man. Be fun. I mean, we know we're going to be facing some French tanks. You have anti-tank. Get this 88 Type 88 75mm anti-tank. That would be flak guns as well, I guess. But this was used as an anti-tank apparently, because you can buy anti-air as well. So we have one of these units present. This 70mm Type 92 was a very common gun in the Japanese infantry divisions. More of an infantry gun. Artillery, yeah, that's what we were. Anti-air, so they have now. Okay, there's the anti-air version. Fighters, Key 10. Here we have an A4N1. These are double-winged ones. Dogfighter carrier plane. And that it's just a pure dogfighter. Not sure we're going to be meeting a lot of air. The Chinese Air Force was in pretty dire straits, but who knows? Something might show up. What else? We got tactical bombers, man. We can get like bombers. This one does not have any special traits. Okay, carrier. These are the carrier ones. So we probably would get these green ones. They would be the ones on land. They have a sort of, they can cause some shock to the enemy. Other than that, pretty low stats. Would be good with the bomber, maybe. Have some tactical bombers. We got strategic bombers as well, man. Mine layer? Okay, they can drop mines. That can cause some huge damage. Yeah, and we can buy naval assets, but as you can see, they're pretty expensive, and I don't think we're meant to buy that. So, all right, let's have a look at our forces. So I'm not really sure what I can actually move or not on this map. Maybe, I mean, I could probably move this tank, because this tank was supposed to cause damage to the enemy. So I would imagine it's these units that are in the garrisons that I can't move. Okay, so look at the flags. Yeah, so the flags are different. That is sort of these are not. So I think these are sort of units that I can't move. Maybe I can move that anti-tank gun. All right, so we need to make a plan, right? So we're going to be attacking. They wanted us to take this town under control. They want us to take this town under control. And then they want us to emerge off and do attack and take Langfang as well. And we have 28 turns to do it. And we're going to have some sort of naval assets landing that's going to be in charge of this. So I'm leaving that up to my assets coming in. I spell the force. So what another thing is, if this is golden colored, that means it's your core forces, the ones you have bought, the ones that carry over to the next mission. So these are, none of my core units are on the map. So all these units are going to be disappearing after this. But I'm going to be having some, my core units are going to come with me. So let's purchase some stuff, right? So let's just think, let's get our infantry first. So I would imagine we will have a lot of foot sloggers. Just a lot of like regular infantrymen. We could like make two strikes. Let's hold on here. Let's make two strike groups. Okay, so is this a river here? This looks like we can pass through here. There's no river here. Another thing is sort of control, or I mean fog of war. This is what this symbolizes, the fog of war here. So you don't know what's going on in these areas at all, unless you have some sort of recon plane to fly there. Right, so I could have like some infantry force attacking in here, some infantry going in there, and maybe get like some motorized infantry and a tank or something that could smash in here, take that, sort of make a surprise attack through here and attack that. I have no idea how well guarded this is. It could be very well guarded. You know, could be like minefields and stuff here. I'm not sure. Let's just try that. So let's get some infantry. Let's just buy one of these, and let's just skip the trucks. So we want to purchase. That's going to cost me 20 points and 3 command points. So if I purchase that, this is where I can put that, the infantry unit. I can place them actually around here, which wouldn't make any sense. It's just too far from the action. But they would be here and start their attack down, and here to go through there. So here, this is interesting. So I could have a force assembling here that could go down and attack, and this force will go straight in there. All right. So let's put some. Yeah, I'm gonna click that, and then you have to sort of right click. Okay, so they have special traits. They're concedable. They're low efficiency loss from terrain disruption, and this unit can unload from train and transport to any terrain type. Okay, they're pretty good. So, and this, if you press this, you sell it back. If you like, so oh no, I don't want to buy it. You can just you know. But once it's placed on the map, you can't take it away. Right, let's put it there. First unit. We have some Japanese infantry here. I think I can move them. So we have 2 infantry units there. Let's buy one more. All right, so we have 3 infantry units. So how much I got? I have 260, right? So let's get a heavy weapons company with them as well. Right, so we have 3 companies or 3 units and a heavy weapons company there. Let's do the same down here. Let's get one of those. So we already have a heavy weapons here. Interesting. Okay. Let's get one more. So 2 infantry units there. I have 2 infantry and heavy weapons company there. Let's see. Right. Let's get that. Let's get like a mobile strike force coming through here. Let's get. So I can't get any. They don't have any engineers. Let's get some let's get some motorized infantry. Let's put them there. I have 120 left. Maybe they should just have some recon. Let's get this. How much are the tanks? $80 for that. 5 points as well. Which means I only have 10 left. Maybe I should just get these light tanks. Maybe a bit of an overkill to get. I need to get some more artillery. Let's get one of these light tanks. Actually, recon is just as expensive. 5 to 3 attack. 9 to 5. Yeah, they have better defense as well. Let's get some of these light tanks then. $50. That's a lot. Let's put them there. Wow. I got 70 points left. Right, so we have guns. We have some artillery guns. We have an assault gun up there. They have, and that's horse-drawn as well. We have a heavy weapons company, and we have 3 infantry groups. Wonder if that's enough. I'm not sure. We have cavalry here as well. Let's see. What else? What else? What about artillery? We don't have any artillery in the south. $40 for those infantry guns. Okay, let's get one of those. Keep it up. Keep with the infantry. Get some firepower, I guess. Okay, I got 30 points left. That's not a lot. I haven't bought any recon. I guess these would have recon. Not sure if they have that. Well, I don't know. Right, so what did I get? I got those motorized, those tanks. I have some infantry, a heavy weapons company. So I have three forces here now, and then heavy weapons. We have artillery and stuff coming down. That looks like a pretty powerful force in the north. And so does this. So let's see what we can buy for our last $30. Haven't bought any air, and I actually have. Yeah, and now I can't afford it. No, it's just too expensive. I get some anti-tank. I don't know if I want that. I think I should just get some more infantry. One more infantry. Just purchase it. Where to put it though? 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 3 infantry and a heavy weapons. Heavy weapons. Okay, I should put it here. I should put it here. Yeah. Looks good. 10 points left. Can't buy anything. I have 1 command point. I didn't buy any here. Could be a mistake. Alright, send it. Here we go, man. Alright. Wow. Alright, so start our first turn. And there we go. Right, I'm going to actually end it here, this first part. And in the second part, I'm going to be kicking things off. I'm going to look at numbers and how actual movement goes and how we fight. And what to think of, you know. What to keep in mind as the battle rages on. As I said, I'm a rookie in this game. I'm just learning it. But I think I know enough to play the game. And what I don't know, I'll just look up in the manual and we'll figure out together. All right. So thanks for watching, man. Tune in to part 2. I'll see you in that one.